Howdy, y'all. We're going to talk a little bit more about equations, and again, this should be more review for you than anything else. This should all be stuff you've seen before, but I want to go ahead and talk about it a little bit here real quick, and so everyone will be super awesome and good. So this first equation here, 6 is equal to 3x minus 7. Well, you always want to focus on the side with the x. So I'll take my little green, make a line there, and then look at just the side with the x in it, and I see 3x minus 7. Okay? Well, when you have 3x and minus 7, you have two things to get rid of. You will need to divide by 3, and you need to add 7. This means 3 times x, so the opposite of times is divide by 3. This is minus 7, so the opposite is plus 7. And which do you do first? When you're solving equations, you always go against the order of operations. So that's please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay? And so you kind of work the opposite way. You go from the bottom up against the order of operations. And so the first thing I'll do is get rid of the minus 7 because that's at the bottom, subtraction. So it's plus 7 on both sides. And I'll use my red marker to cross those out. And then what am I going to have? I'll have 13 over here is equal to, and copy whatever's left over. So the 7's canceled out. I'm just left with 3x. Okay? So I have a 3 in front of the x. I divide by 3. I divide by 3. And those will cross out now. And so I have 13 over 3, but 13 over 3 does not reduce, so I will leave it alone. That's good. Okay, so there are basically 3 kind of problems we'll see here. That was the first one. Here's the second one. So 5 minus x over 3 equals 10. Again, look at the side with the x. I'm going to draw a little line here. Look at the side with the x. Okay, and basically the same deal. I see a 5 here, and I see a minus x over 3. Well, I'm going to get rid of the 5 first, because that's the addition or subtraction step here. Now, one thing that's confusing is that I see a 5 here, and I see a subtraction sign. So I think, well, that's subtracting 5, so I need to add 5 to get rid of it. But I'm not subtracting the 5. I need to look in front of the 5, and that's a positive 5 out front there. The negative just applies to the x over 3 that's after it. So to get rid of plus 5, I'm going to minus 5 on both sides. And let me those out. And this negative still belongs to the x over 3. So negative x over 3 is equal to 5. Okay, and this has come up on some of your Carnegie as well, if you're at that point. So to get rid of this negative x over 3, well, I'm dividing by 3, so I'm going to multiply by 3. But I'm going to multiply by negative 3, because what I want is just an x here. This is what I want. This is my goal. And if I multiply a negative by a negative, that'll give me this positive x. So that's why I'm going to do that. I'm going to put this in parentheses as well. So if I multiply by negative 3, that will give me just the x there. The negatives will cancel out. Negative times negative is positive. And 3 divided by 3 cancel out as well. So let me go ahead and note that too. Okay, what you do over here, you must do over here. So times negative 3. That'll give me negative 15. Okay, so let's look at one more kind. And this is one where it's a little different. Because we're in a fraction here, the order of operations gets changed, so the opposite of the order of operations gets changed. Okay, if I took this and did the order of operations, I would do 2 plus x first, and whatever x is, and then I divide that by 9. So I'm going to do the opposite of that to solve this. I'm going to get rid of the 9 first. I'm going to multiply by 9. Multiply by 9. Okay, these 9s will cancel out. And I'll be left with 2 plus x. I'm just copying what's in the numerator here. Is equal to 9. And then next I will subtract the 2. It's really important that you're writing your steps in there so that you can follow what you're doing. With the one-step equations, it seemed a little silly to show your step there. But as these get, whoops, why am I writing in, I should do red there, oh well. But as these become to get more steps, I need to follow what you're thinking, I need to follow what you're doing. So it's not only what I'm telling you to do, but it's actually becoming really important to show your work, to show what you're doing there. Okay? I'm going to give you a couple to try, but I'm going to give you one at a time to try. So let me cover up these other ones here. And I'm going to say, go ahead and try this one right here. I'll give you just about 1 minute, since I'm only giving you one problem. Go ahead and I will